You'll notice the theme when we talk about all these different sort of empires falling, in that the pressure and the people that were attacking them were usually whom? Barbarians, like nomadic invaders, exactly. Okay? Yes. Oh, Chris. Are you just giving a high five? Sweet. High fives are encouraged. Okay, so when we talk about environmental causes, I want to focus on Rome because I think it's the easiest one to explain. Okay? So we're talking about sort of the environmental causes for the fallout of Rome. The story starts with trees. Okay? It starts with trees. Trees were the most basic building supply in Rome. All right? Lots of things, obviously the buildings that we kind of look up and all at are obviously not made of wood, but marble and, limestone and all these things like that. But everything else, pretty much, the basic housing, all that stuff was built with wood, okay? Wood was also used for what other purposes? Can you guess? Give me one. Yes, Nick. Weapons? Get another one, yeah. Heat, absolutely. What else? Anything?
Building.
Yep. Yeah, well, it started building. Yeah. Okay, why else would the Roman Empire might have a need to chop down forests? Nate?
Expansion.
What do you mean by expansion?
So that way they had more room to grow and more room to live.
Yeah, and expansion specifically for what purpose? Yes.
Trade.
For what?
Trade.
Not necessarily trade, but I'll give you a hint. Think these guys. Cutting down forests for what? Agriculture, absolutely. As the population gets bigger, you need more what? Food. And if you're an agricultural society, that means more what to grow more food? More land, right? And it's kind of inconvenient if there's sort of a forest happening where you want to do like a field to grow some crops, right? So the Romans were usually chopping down forests to make way for new sort of agricultural plots. Also, they chopped down forests as a military exercise too. Why the heck would you chop down forests to do that, Connor?
You need wood for ships.
Wood for shipbuilding, yeah. There's another strategic reason too. Chris?
Doesn't it, it could help, the people be, stronger?
What? Are you pulling like a mystical tree power argument on me? Yeah, absolutely.
They cut down forests to prevent sneak attacks.
Absolutely. Cutting down forests to prevent sneak attacks. Turns out trees are really good for hiding, right? And so Caesar specifically ordered down a lot of trees that were to be cut so they could kind of see who was coming at them, so to speak. Okay? So all of this deforestation, and when I say deforestation, that simply means the cutting down of trees in sort of mass, the mass cutting down of trees, led to some pretty bad environmental consequences. Because I'm not a biology person. You could probably get a science teacher to explain this better than I could. But it has something to do with like trees sort of hold, they're cutting down the trees to get to that rich topsoil, right? But all of a sudden, what happens if you get really massive flooding that happened like in the 3rd century CE and there's no sort of trees? Yeah, Anthony? Not necessarily irrigation, yeah?
Oh, the rich topsoil washes away.
Yeah, it washes away. You got nothing to hold it there, right? And so this is exactly what happened towards the end of the Roman Empire, or the ancient Roman Empire, as you see this massive flooding which causes erosion, which then, what's the sort of really big drawback? What happens to the land because of all this? What, less fertile? And less fertile means what?
Less food.
Big time problems. Big time problems, okay? So the environmental causes, specifically with Rome, have to do with a massive campaign of deforestation and using up environmental and natural resources, right? Coupled with some bad luck due to some sort of record flooding equals sort of an arid landscape that they just weren't able to sustain the kind of food production necessary to keep that many people alive. So that was one of the causes for the downfall of the Roman Empire. Was an environmental cause seen through deforestation. Are there any questions on that, guys? Any questions whatsoever?